It's the final game hunt of 2022, and what is this? Boxed, complete, and near on mint, one of the rarest games on the N64.
Game pickups! Building the gamesroom! Rush trips! Live game hunting!
Hello again, folks, and welcome back to another episode. And here we are, the end of 2022, and we are ending 2022 exactly how we started, with a live game hunt in my local area, around the charity shops and in Norwich. There has been so many amazing game hunts this year, and I think we're going to end the year on a high. As I said then, we're going to be hitting up my local area, hitting up the charity shops and the city of Norwich, trying to add games to the collection as well as pick up games we can trade into CX or sell on eBay to make more profit to put back into the collection. Trust me, this week we're going to find some awesome bits, and we are looking anywhere and everywhere to help build this amazing collection. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and please subscribe, as I put new videos out every Saturday live at 5, as well as bonus content throughout the week, and I really want you folks along for the ride. Now, one more time, last game hunt of the year, let's go. We're starting off then in one of my favourite places to hunt in the city, the recycling centre, and straight away in the electronics part, I found this boxed Connect for just £10, but hiding behind it was this box, but sadly not complete Wii console, as it didn't have any of the controllers with it. £15 is a pretty good price for this, but without the controllers I'd probably leave it behind. All of this stuff is normally pat tested, so it's a good place to pick up some electronics. Heading over to the games section, all of these games are just £1 each regardless of what they are, so Guitar Hero 5 is definitely worth picking up for £1. I have it in the collection already, but this one would trade into CX quite nicely, and this one was in really good condition. Maybe actually better condition than the one I have in my collection already. It did seem that somebody had traded in their entire Guitar Hero collection into the store. I did check Guitar Hero World Tour. Unfortunately, it trades in for about 80 pence in CX, so I did leave this one behind. It was a real shame there was no guitars or even drums. That would have been an amazing pickup. It seemed like the person who bought in that Xbox 360 Connect also bought in some games, such as this one, Child of Eden. It's not the rarest game, but there's not many of these Connect games I don't own now, so picking this up for £1, it sells the same in CX, that's not too bad in my books. But this is one I have never actually seen before, Sports Island Freedom, which kind of looks very similar to kind of Wii Sports, but for the Xbox 360 Connect. Again, for £1, I'll probably pick this one up just to build my Xbox 360 collection. Band Heroes, so you can tell once again this might be the same person who traded in all those Guitar Hero games. Unfortunately, this one doesn't trade in for very much, I already have it in the collection, but hiding in the Wii section was a hidden gem, I think, for the Wii. This Sega Superstar Tennis, which is actually a really fun tennis game and especially good on the Wii using the motion controls. One of my favourite bits on this is the kind of House of the Dead themed tennis. That is absolutely amazing. Another game here is just carrying on the guitar theme. Rocksmith for the Xbox 360, sadly no trade-in price there. Here's a Wii game I've never seen before. Yes, of course I've seen Just Dance 2, but I've never seen Just Dance 2 Extra Songs. I did check in case this was some weird rarity. Unfortunately, it only trades in for £1 at CX still, but cool to see. I always check the DVD shelf here, as all the DVDs are only 10p, and this is the kind of DVD which you will never find on any of the streaming sites. This WWE Flintstones crossover is a crossover we never knew we needed, and I think what was more surprising, as I was really digging deep into the DVDs, this was not the only WWE crossover with one of these classic cartoons. I was going through all the DVDs in here and found this one, Scooby-Doo WrestleMania Mystery, which just looks absolutely incredible. John Cena, Triple H and Scooby-Doo, what more could you need? These are the kind of DVDs I love to pick up for just 10p, as they'll never be on streaming sites. Before heading into Norwich, I wanted to hit up what is undoubtedly my charity shop of the year for 2022. This charity shop here in Wyndham always comes up with the goods, and it seemed that this week was going to be a Wii week. As you can see here, we have The Sims 3 and Dead Island Chop Till You Drop. This is a game I've wanted in the collection. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a good game, but it's a weird game. Dead Rising on the Wii and The Sims on the Wii, I think these were £1.50 each. I did check all the disc fees, they looked quite nice. Sadly, Dead Rising wasn't complete, but to pick both these up for £3 is a bargain. It may sound a bit tight, but I did leave behind this copy of Ghostbusters for the Wii. It was £4, and I think I can probably play this on a different console where the game may play better. But let me know, is this Wii version of Ghostbusters a game worth picking up? I will say though, I do regret not picking up this copy of Pikmin for the Wii. I did not realise this is a £10 game now in CX. I could have picked it up for £5 here. I kind of debated it here, and I am pretty gutted I didn't pick this up. I really love these new play control games for the Wii. Really gutted I left this one behind. I always enjoy building my Wii library, and now is a really good time to do it. All of these games were just £1.50 each, and the Wii really does have an amazing back catalogue of games. I managed to pick up another 3 of these games for the collection, but I'm not going to tell you which 3 until the end of the video. So start guessing now, and come back at the end of the video when we go through those pickups to see which 3 games I added into my collection. I think this was a case of right place and right time. In the next charity shop down the road, they had an absolutely stacked box of Xbox 360 games. These were all £1.50, and I reckon these had just been put out. As you can see, the box was really full, and it looked like I had the first pick through these games. There were some really good titles in here, and I did pick up a few of these games. Again, the Xbox 360 is a console which is super fun to collect for. This was the one I was really pleased to pick up, Soldier of Fortune Payback. If you have not played this game before, it is an absolutely amazingly violent first-person shooter. It's like Call of Duty on steroids. It's such a good game, and the Xbox 360 is just so fun to collect for at the minute. Other than the Xbox 360 games, it did have a couple of PSP games in here. Certainly worth football games, nothing really worth picking up. Some Call of Duties for the PlayStation 3, just some kind of low-value games. There was a couple of UMD movies for the PSP. I sometimes get tempted to pick these up, but they have to be films I'm absolutely in love with. I'm a massive fan of The Day After Tomorrow, but that is not really the kind of film you want to be watching on a tiny PSP screen. A couple of PS3 games here, nothing too much. Here we go then, first charity shop in Norwich. A really good selection of games, but the only problem is all of these games were £5 each, which is pretty much CX price or higher. Zelda is a good price for £5. Don't get me wrong, these are all amazing games to pick up if you're starting a collection, but if you're looking for a deal or looking to trade it into CX, these are all really overpriced, which is a real shame, but this was a solid section of game to start off. There's been so many times I've passed up on these Simpsons DVD box sets. These are really nice ways just to get the complete Simpsons series collection, and normally you can pick them up quite cheap. These ones are a couple of quid each, but I wonder, do you think that 2023 will finally be the time that I crack and add these to my collection? I spotted this in cash converters, and I still think to this day this is one of the weirdest collector's editions of all time. For that reason alone, I was tempted to pick it up for 45 quid, but seriously, when they made this Dead Island Riptide collector's edition, what were the developers thinking? Definitely one of the weirdest collector's editions ever. I seem to remember that this Mass Effect trilogy on the PlayStation 3 used to be a lot more expensive. So in here they have it for £15, and that's pretty much the same price it is in CX. This one I think was quite expensive at first because originally the original Mass Effect was only on the Xbox 360. This was the only way you could play it on the PlayStation 3. But now, let me know in the comments down below, would you buy the PlayStation 3 box set or buy the Mass Effect Ultimate Edition on the PlayStation 4? Let me know in the comments down below. I am very lucky to have some very good retro gaming shops in my local city of Norwich, and Last Level Games is perhaps my favourite of them all. They just have such an amazing selection of games in store all the time, and you never know what you're going to find. There was just so much cool stuff in here. I was really tempted by a lot of these box SNES games. I've been on a real SNES kick at the minute. There were some really good titles in here. Really nice condition. There was also loads and loads of Japanese N64 games, and even a Japanese N64. The interesting thing about this console, you can actually use the same TV connectors and power supplies you'd use for the UK N64. But some of the games, such as Majora's Mask, are much cheaper. Also in the glass cabinet was a really good selection of some of the heavy hitter games for the PlayStation 2. And it's some of these more valuable games which I think are going to get harder and harder to find in the coming years. These are the kind of games you want to pick up now, as these are the ones that are really going to increase in value. As I'm sure you all know by now, I have a fairly large PlayStation 1 collection, and Last Level Games is a really good place to either add games to your collection or even start a collection for the PlayStation 1. They have an absolutely massive selection of PS1 games, some cheaper games, and some of these high-level games here in the glass cabinet, all in amazing condition, all at fantastic prices. Back to the charity shops, and I do not know enough about Pokemon cards to know if this is a good deal or not. But let me know in the comments down below. Have I just missed the deal of a lifetime on these Pokemon cards? I'm kind of guessing not, but it's cool to see these charity shops having some cool items like these Pokemon cards. I have a fairly limited knowledge of comic books, so I just kind of know what I like. And I like 2000 AD, I like Judge Dredd. I used to read these back around the year 2000, ironically enough. There was just loads of these. I was looking for like a specific issue or just one that really stood out for me. Nothing really jumped out at me because that's the thing with comic books. I normally just judge books literally by their cover. These ones I was very tempted to pick up, these Mad Max Fury Road comics, as that is possibly one of my favourite films of all time. But the price of these was putting me off a little bit. As I've said many times, I don't really know a lot about comics. I normally just pick them up if they're cheap and I like the look of them. I would have picked all of these up if they'd been like 99p or £1 each. But like, what? This one was £4, which put me off. I know that sounds stupid. I could have picked all these up for about £6, but that just one being more expensive kind of put me off, as I just don't know the value of these comics, even though the artwork on these was super cool. Another charity shop and another wall of DVDs, and here's the thing, I kind of get used to hunting and I will be able to spot the one game hiding in the wall of DVDs. Unfortunately, it was Don King's Prize Fighter this time, which these are the kind of sports games I normally pick up at the car boot for like 20 or 50p, so pick it up for this price in a charity shop, gonna leave it behind. Of course, no trip to the city would be complete without a trip to CX, and it's actually surprising. You can get some pretty cheap PlayStation 5 games in CX now. I think because some of these games have been out for a year or two, we're definitely starting to see some of these games dropping in price. You know, your kind of classics, like you look at the new Call of Duties, and the ones that are a year or two old just get really cheap, and you can just pick up some cheaper games now for the PlayStation 5. I really wish I could tell you that I picked up this absolutely minty boxed and complete copy of Blues Brothers 2000 for the N64, but around Christmas time with a £200 price tag, sadly I had to pass this one up, but trust me, if this is there in the future, I may grab it. Really solid selection of Black Label PlayStation 1 games, this time in CX, and these are normally at a pretty decent price. It's good to see some PlayStation games in CX in a minute because it just seems like they're taking less of these on trade-in, and they have to be in very good condition for them to take them in on trade-in. So grab PS1 games from CX while you can. Recently I've been reconsidering playing through the Bioshock trilogy, and I was quite tempted to pick up this box set for just £12 on the Xbox One, but let me know, is it worth picking up this version of the game or just playing the games originally that were released on the Xbox 360? Is there a big difference playing on the Xbox One? Please let me know in the comments down below, as this is a pretty good price for this game. Speaking of remakes and remasters, I have really been wanting to play this Final Fantasy VII remake on the PlayStation 4 for a while, and this is a really good price in CX. But unfortunately, both copies of this game seem to have kind of water damage or just kind of warping of the artwork. The thing is, if I add a game into my collection, I want it to be in really good condition, and both of these were just not really up to condition quality, so I did pass on this game. Hopefully I can pick up a copy of this in CX soon, as this is definitely a game I really want to play, especially playing on the PlayStation 5. It's got added graphic power. This is a bit of a worrying sight. This is the selection of Xbox 360 games they have at the end of 2022, which is making me worried that eventually this section is going to become very small or even disappear. But don't worry, we've got a few very random places left to visit this week before we head back to the games room. This just shows you need to go anywhere and everywhere to build your games room and your collection. This is Smith's Toys, and I was in here looking for cool bits to put around the games room, and it did not disappoint. Check out this Super Mario Piranha Plant gaming light. This thing is awesome for $16.99. It lights up your games room, and this is gamer chic. And this was not the only thing they had in here. They had loads of these kind of cool lights for your games room, such as this Super Mario Builder level. This is super cool. I don't care if you think it's geeky or just, I think it's cool. 16 blocks that light up. You can rearrange and make your own Mario level. These are the kind of things I love to have on the shelves around the games room and just make it feel more homely and cool. I wanted to pick one more light up, but I was torn. Which one would you have picked up? Let me know in the comments down below. We have this Pac-Man light here, which has the goats and Pac-Man himself, or this Super Mario 8-bit light below. I think both these were super cool. I only had room for one of these, so I had to pick one up. So stick around, I'll show you the pickups, which one I grabbed. Here is our final stop for the week, Home Bargains, and it just shows you need to hunt for retro and kind of collectibles for your collection anywhere and everywhere. I picked up this Jake Hager figure for $9.99. I've been really enjoying collecting these AEW figures at the moment, and it just goes to show you have to search high and low and everywhere to build an awesome collection of video games and collectibles. Now, back to the games room. Here we are then, back in the games room, and it just goes to show, even after all the game hunts we have done this year, even my local area can still surprise me. I have never ever seen even a loose copy of that Blues Brothers 2000 game for the N64, let alone one near on mint and complete in the box. If this had not been one of the most expensive times of the year around Christmas, I'd have definitely picked that one up. If it is still there in a couple of weeks and I have some trading credit, I'm coming for you. The thing is with games hunting, you need to keep looking in new and exciting locations, because these are the places you just find the stuff you don't expect. And the recycling centre in my local area has been an absolutely amazing place to pick some stuff up this year. And one of the best things about it is the fact you can pick up the DVDs for just 10p. And I've got these two WWE crossover DVDs. So we have both Scooby-Doo and the Flintstones. And these are the kind of DVDs I will still pick up, because these are the kind of things that will just disappear, like when licensing runs out. And these are just the kind of things that are not on streaming websites, because they're just the weird and the obscure. And these are the kind of DVDs I love to add to the collection. The thing about a collection is that it's always changing. There's always new things you are trying to add into the collection. And one of the things I started collecting this year was AEW figures. These normally retail for about 20 quid, so I saw this one for a tenner in Home Bargains of all places, so I knew I had to pick it up. For my money, these are the best wrestling figures on the market, and as a huge wrestling fan, I knew I wanted to collect one series of wrestling figures, so these were the ones for me. I'm a massive AEW fan, fantastic figures, had to have it in the collection. Let's get on to some video games then, and to be honest, it surprises me I can still find Wii games I want to add to my collection in 2022, and also I just find games I've never seen before, such as Just Dance 2 Extra Songs. It may just be a slight variant, but it's just cool to see something I've never seen before, especially on the Wii. This game, I think, is a bit of a hidden gem. Sega Superstar Tennis. This was released on other consoles, but for my money, this is best on the Wii. And one of the best things about this game is just how it uses some of the iconic Sega characters. And it's actually not the ones you'd think, like Sonic, and that is really obvious, but the House of the Dead level on this is absolutely incredible. I just picked up a lot of these Wii games because they're cheap, and if I see a slight interest in them, I'm going to pick them up, such as Ferrari The Race Experience, which is probably just kind of a standard racing game, but for $1.50, this is the kind of game I like to still add into my Wii collection. Not shovelware, not exactly changing the world, but it's still best to pick up these kind of games cheap for the Wii now, such as The Sims 3, and also Tomb Raider Underworld, because these are the games that you can get cheap now, and this is a time when it's cheap to collect for the Wii, and who knows what's going to happen in the next few years. One game I was very happy to pick up though was Dead Rising Chop Till You Drop. It doesn't work as amazing as you'd expect, the graphics on this are pretty poor, but the fact is, it's a motion controlled Dead Rising game, and if nothing else, it's a good bit of fun. And speaking of cheap video games, trust me, now is the time to pick up these Xbox 360 games. You saw from today's episode, the Xbox 360 section in CX is shrinking. These games are cheap to pick up now, and it is a cheap, easy console to collect for. Seriously, there's Xbox 360 games everywhere, charity shops, car boots, but buy them now. As the console gets older, it's going to be harder to pick these games up for super cheap like I have this time. These are all £1 to £1.50. And the Kinect is something that still surprised me. I've never seen Sports Island Freedom before. Yes, the Kinect might not be the best kind of motion controller system of all time, but it's cheap to collect for. Games such as Child of Eden, this one's only £1 in CX at the minute, picked up for £1 from the shop. Also, games like Guitar Hero 5. This may only trade in for about £1.60 in CX, but if you can pick it up for £1, you're still getting 60p profit. I know it's a small game, but it's a game to play. Also, games like Unreal Tournament. There's some absolutely incredible games on the Xbox 360. Trust me, it's still an HD console, and these games still look great. Battle of the Pacific is one I've never seen before. I think this actually might be an American release, looking at the team in the corner. And this game, this is an absolute beast. Soldier of Fortune Payback. If you enjoy your first-person shooters, this is essentially a way more brutal Call of Duty. This game is violent. It definitely requires the 18 rating, but this one is an awesome hardcore first-person shooter. For me, one of the most important things about the games room is making it look cool. I want it to be like just the perfect place to hang out and play video games. And for me, lighting is a very important factor of that. And for my money, a lot of these Paladone lights are some of the best lights to light up your game room. I'm going to start off though with an unfortunate happening. This is one of the lights I picked up from Smith's Toys for the games room. Unfortunately, this one was damaged. This is the first time I've actually had one of these Paladone lights broken, so unfortunately I cannot show you this one lit up, but no worries, I have two more to show you. How awesome is this first light? This is the Piranha Plant desktop lamp, obviously from Super Mario Bros, and this thing is super duper cool. We all need a lamp to either sit and read our strategy guides or game instruction books from, and for me, this is the perfect gamer's lamp. Our final pickup of this video, and indeed of 2022, is the Super Mario Bros. Build a Level light. And this thing is super cool. You can literally take all of these blocks apart and rebuild the light into the image of your perfect Mario level. This looks super awesome on the shelf, and these are just kind of items I just think make the games room personal to yourself. I love having the games room lit up and just making it like a neon paradise. There we have it then, folks. That is the end of the episode and the end of the final game hunt of 2022. What an amazing year it's been, and it's been a pleasure to bring you along for the ride through the charity shops, the car boots, the CX stores and the gaming stores, to just see how I've built this collection over the years and just have you along for the ride. Thank you so much for watching, for being a part of the experience, and trust me, there is some big things coming in 2023, so stick around, it's going to be a wild ride. Thanks for watching, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and as always, keep playing the game. See you all soon.